Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here tonight. Looks like we have a pretty good group. And folks, you can see here we have, oh, we're getting some feedback. I'm going to have to go ahead and mute you guys at the info center, okay? So as you can see here, we have a test group at the info center in person. So that's part of our agenda tonight and one of the topics we'll be discussing. So, all right, we're going to dive right in. If this is the first time joining us virtually, we do ask that everyone just keeps your microphone muted unless you are presenting or asking a question, just so we don't have any feedback issues. If you do forget to mute your microphone, I'll go ahead and take care of that for you. But otherwise, feel free anytime during a conversation or certainly a discussion where we have questions to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. And if that's not working for you, you can also just unmute yourself and let us know that you'd like to participate in the discussion or ask a question. So without further ado, we're going to start with our treasurer's report. So Dan, I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
I think so. I'm just the sharing in Zoom is wonky to me. Sharing, okay. Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yep, you
All
sound
right.
great.
So okay, perfect. So here is the for the end of the month, so March 31st. Overall, not a lot of changes. I actually compare, so here's the I think it okay, here's the balance sheet, sorry. Yeah, so overall, not a whole lot of changes. Everything's looking pretty good. For the income statement, we are currently down for the year or for the month, 1,800, but I compared it to last year and the overall, like last year's, we were down to 1,016, and then that was the same for the month. So overall, we're not doing horribly compared to last year. Especially compared to we ended the year down a little bit because we just didn't sell as much at the festival than previous years. But yeah, and then we have some money we need to move around eventually, potentially for the scholarship grant once hopefully a child applies for it, a young adult. But yeah, that's it for the two reports, and they will be added to the public folder at the end of this meeting or during it. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Dan.
Mhm.
Any questions at all? Okay, looks like we're moving on. Thank you again. All right, guys, we're going to move into our next item here, which, as I mentioned, is let me go ahead and end your screen. There we go. Okay, which is our discussion about our hybrid model. So at last month's meeting, a member, Mike, hello, wave. Mike proposed that we explore a hybrid model for our meetings. So we'll still have our virtual meeting every month, but the proposal was to start with at least once a quarter, also having the ability for folks to attend from the info center, as you see the four people on the screen doing now. So we kind of looked into what that would entail. We did some testing with a board meeting. We're, of course, doing a bit more testing this evening. Mike did some research for us so we would know what kind of costs there would be. Dan worked on getting us a large TV to mount on the wall and the mount. So essentially where we are is that with the equipment that we would still need in order to make this process work, we would be asking everyone to approve a budget of up to $200 for that, and to also approve us to at least once per quarter begin hosting this kind of in-person option for folks. So again, we'll still have a virtual meeting that you'll be able to attend if you're unable to attend or don't want to attend in person, but we would have the in-person option as well. And if we of course invest the money into that, then assuming that everyone has the availability, since there would need to be at least one board member attending at the info center, this could also be something that we do every month. So we're going to just kind of open the floor at this point, talk through this. If anyone has any questions, any thoughts, and then I will put a link in chat as well so that you can go ahead and vote if you're ready to do so. Folks at the info center or who do not have access to the links, just go straight to merionvillage.org, scroll to the bottom of our homepage, and there's a link that will say vote at meetings, and that'll get you right to where you need to be. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in chat now for people to vote and open the floor for anyone who wants to say anything.
Yes, thank you for making that link so accessible on the website because I was thinking I was gonna have to log in on Zoom and be
No.
ready to assemble.
No, we definitely want to make sure that it's accessible, especially if folks are ever on the phone. So we try to keep that very easy to get to. Okay, question in chat. Will folks renting be able to use the TV HDMI hookup as well? So we did, and I'll let the other board members weigh in as well. We did actually talk about that as a possibility. That's why we wanted to mount the TV rather than have it on a cart, is so that we could potentially have it as an additional feature of the info center for folks who are renting. Other board members, any thoughts or additional comments on that?
I don't think so. I think it's nice. We could talk about where we want to mount it. I can't easily turn the camera around, but where we have the TV now is kind of off to the side but angled out. So I think if we get a mount that can articulate that way, it'd probably be useful for like baby showers, doing like a slideshow or something, things like that.
There are game nights or there'd be all kinds of things I think people could use the TV for.
And honestly, even other people that might choose to have some type of a hybrid setting for a meeting, because we've had people reserve the space for meetings before. So since we do have Wi-Fi in the center that's available for renters, that would create that as a possibility as well. Anyone else have any thoughts, feedback? We've got votes coming in. So again, feel free to vote, folks, if you're ready to do so.
We'll see how this will about that.
To move money to do this basically. Okay, sure.
We could leave voting
Yes,
open for people minute.
Yeah, question just for anyone who's here virtually. When we tested this at the monthly meeting, we found that we could hear each other pretty well as long as we have the speaker set up correctly and everything. But does anyone else there who's on the screen have any feedback on if they can hear us, how easy it is to participate, and if you can hear the thumping bass from next door where people are having a lot of fun right now?
Can't hear the
South Bend
bass.
is having a thing tonight.
Yeah.
When more than one of you were talking just a moment ago, I couldn't discern anything, but as long as only one person is speaking, I can hear you very well. Anybody else have any thoughts or differing feedback on that? Looks like comments in chat. Everyone can hear you. Sounds good to everyone. So
Yeah, we do have this like little puck device. So like if people are talking, they can bring it up to their face, and I'm probably a lot louder, I assume, when it's this close
yes, very
versus
clear.
being on the table over here.
I see we have Abigail Cawthorn, this is her second meeting. Welcome back, Abigail. Thanks for coming back.
And we also talked about, oh yes,
Thank you.
since we will have a board meeting, a board member on site, we'll also be able to make sure, if there are folks there for having a zoning discussion or something that requires a lot of folks that maybe want to be able to share comments, and let's say those people are at the info center, we'll have a board member on site who's able to kind of, get a queue started of anyone that wants to speak, and if, like Mike suggested, pass around the speaker puck if need be, so that people can be heard clearly. So since everything's wireless, that helps a lot.
That is part of the budget, right? It's like, so this one we brought from home, but that part of the budget would fund for having one dedicated to the info center.
Yeah, I think so, Mike. Since we believe we have both the TV and the mount secured, the budget includes, I'm sorry, you sent me an entire breakdown, and it includes the speaker, and what was the other item? An HDMI cord?
I think, yeah, I probably have the cords, to be honest.
Okay.
I can donate for somebody. I was thinking a webcam to put on the TV. Might be nice, not necessarily, like not 100% necessary, because we can use the laptop like this, so we could try it both ways.
But that makes sense, especially if whichever board member happens to be attending that night doesn't have a webcam for whatever reason built into their system, or if it's front facing and they of course need to be running it. So that makes sense that we would have a webcam. Okay. Again, if anyone has not voted yet, please go ahead and get your ballots cast now. Any other comments, questions before we count the votes and reveal the results?
Jess, I have a question here.
Yeah, go for it, Tate.
You mentioned zoning here. I'm assuming that this would be open for our zoning participants and folks who are presenting if they choose to.
Yes, if they
Okay.
choose to do so. The only caveat to that would be if they have something to share on the screen, we would still need them to be able to do that. And you can see we have a couple of laptops right now at the info center because we're testing, but our Wi-Fi does not support multiple laptops participating in a virtual meeting at the same time. So again, the only caveat would be if the zoning individual was going to attend in person, there would need to be a plan in place to make sure whatever they wanted to share on the screen could be done by another entity, virtually, whether that be you or someone else that they had attending virtually to make sure that they could share those on the screen.
Great. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I could always do it. I think that's fine too. I think that's a good backup plan if needed. So great.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jess.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else have anything to share? Yeah, go for it, Mike.
I was thinking probably for zoning, it seems like we get a lot of the architects and things joining or lawyers.
Yeah.
So I would think they're probably still going to attend virtually if they have the option. Is my
I
guess.
think most with the option will choose to attend virtually.
Yeah.
They used to have to print packets when they would come, and I don't think most people want to do that. So
No, I agree. There's just one instance I'm thinking of. There was an applicant who did not have any representation, and she did not have a computer, did not have a phone. She had a landline, and so it was really difficult to walk her through how to join via like calling in. And so I agree with you, Mike. I think it'd be 99%. We wouldn't have an issue, but I'm excited that this would kind of open that opportunity and make it more accessible for folks who maybe don't have the technology to join. So I'm excited about this. This is just great.
thank you very much, Tate. Okay, anyone else?
At the area commission, even when we were hybrid, most of them still came in person. So you may be surprised.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. So yeah, what we'll do, assuming, and I thoroughly expect us to proceed with this, Tate, you and I can kind of work together and make sure that you've got anything you need as far as like a packet of information, because you of course send a packet to all of the zoning reps anyway to let them know this is our meeting format, this is what we do. We'll just add some language to that so that they understand that yes, they can certainly attend in person, assuming it is a month where we are doing that. And then, but if they do that, we'll need to have them send you everything for sharing on the screen beforehand. And there will also, I didn't mention this is very trivial. We do, since this meeting has everyone required to register, that's kind of our sign-in sheet that we have notated in our bylaws. For in-person settings, we will have a sign-in sheet on site, and anyone who's attending in person will just need to sign in when they attend the meeting. Okay.
David had a comment question.
Go for it.
Yeah, it kind of relates to that. Right now, or when we're all virtual, everyone can look at the chat and see kind of the side conversation that's going on. I mean, with people, they're not in a box where they can speak up loud if they want to type something. So I don't know if we want to have a policy, if we usually have the chat up so people can see it, or, because right now I can see the messages down there. But that's something we might want to do or not do if it gets too distracting. And then also, I feel like we probably need to be more aware of introducing ourselves if we speak in person, since there's not, a little color with our name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple of thoughts about that. Some of the question or comment.
Those are good points. I'm not sure. I don't know what size the TV will be, or if having the chat visible, if it'll be legible for everyone. If maybe, I guess that's just something we'll have to try once we have the setup in place. Anytime we do have chat comments, especially if they're like questions, I do try to read those out. So I'll continue to do that regardless. But that's a great point that, since the chat does exist and some folks use that rather than speaking, that it's something we want to make sure we're able to share as well.
I just turned it on for us and it looks really nice. Like, so
awesome.
We can see you full, and then we have the chat right to the side. Honestly, I always forget to turn the chat on when I'm at home, and so I don't always see what people are saying. So it's already been kind of nicer because people are chatting.
Right. And I think that the other thing is, when we have this kind of in practice, the idea is that we will have a board member that is kind of running the visual portion, like sitting behind their laptop. And so that way they can use the hand raise feature, or they can add something to chat if they need to. Since ideally, if we have a room full of, let's say we have 20 people attending, we don't just want people to have to like wave their hand or something. We'll have a process in place to make sure that if somebody wants to participate, because I might not, see somebody with like a hand in the air, that they can still do that, even if they are in person. Okay. Anyone else have anything before we count the votes? And has everyone had the opportunity to vote? Okay. All right. Give me 1 second here, folks. We have a total of 10 responses, 10 in support, none opposed, and no abstentions. So this passes. So we will proceed with this process. We will work on getting the equipment. And ideally, assuming we can secure all of the equipment beforehand, does everyone agree that we would attempt our first quarterly meeting for next month with the in-person? Okay. Awesome. Okay, guys. So the next month, if you prefer, you'll be able to attend at the actual info center. And then we will, of course, still have the virtual option as well. So we will update our posts and our reminders that go out to members and things so people know that is an option. And we'll, of course, also do kind of an announcement about this since it is a change. But otherwise, we're moving forward with it. Thank you very much, Mike, for suggesting and for all of the work everyone has done to help us test this, make sure it would work in our favor. Exciting to see how this goes. Okay, make a quick note here. Okay, all right, we're going to move on and continue on with the agenda. Next item, garden tour and festival planning. So we are kicking off both of these major events for us with planning meetings next week. Both of the planning meetings will actually be held on Monday the 7th. The garden tour meeting will start at 6 p.m. and the festival meeting will start at 7 p.m. Each of those meetings will be intended not to last more than 45 minutes for the kickoff. And essentially at each of those meetings, it'll give everyone an opportunity to introduce themselves, share what aspects of those events they are interested in helping to participate in, and then we'll make some decisions about things. One of the suggestions was to talk about the actual date of our garden tour for many, 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 many years, possibly forever. This is the 26th tour. The tour has been held on the second Sunday in July, which if you have attended our tours, you are probably aware that it is typically very, very, very hot. So we're just going to ask the committee members to discuss whether or not there would be a benefit into looking at an earlier date. I don't know personally enough about flowers and when they're blooming to make that call myself, but we have several folks on the committee that have either been on the committee before, are professional landscapers, things of that nature. So that's one of the conversations we will be having. And then, of course, the festival, which is our biggest event of the year. We have a crew of folks who have been helping to plan that for many years now, and it looks like we've got some new folks that are joining as well. So if you are interested in joining either of those meetings, we've posted both of them on our Facebook page, and you can also email us at either gardentour@merionvillage.org or festival@merionvillage.org. If you don't have a Facebook and just want quick access to the link, we can get you put onto the contact list for those events so that you get any communications that come through. But looking forward to getting those both kicked off and getting planning underway. Does anyone have any questions about either of those meetings?
Yeah, so both of those meetings taking place fully online.
Yes, yes. And that'll be part of the conversation. Each of those committees will kind of have a discussion about how the meetings look going forward, when they're going to be held, how they're going to be held. And then once we have an actual recurring schedule in place, that's something that we'll publish as well. Okay, anything else about those meetings? All right, we will move along. Scholarship committee update. So Lauren, you want to take that away?
So, April 6th, which is this Sunday, is the deadline to apply. Jess, you know better than I do if anybody has applied yet.
Unfortunately, no.
So we are having issues. Last year we didn't have any applicants. Well, no, we did award it last year, and then we could not contact the individual who won. So that money went back into the fund for this year. If we don't have any applicants this year, or the same issue arises, then we will be rethinking how we do it. I mean, we have a teacher on site who distributes applications. We've tried having people be on site to do workshops. Thank you. And just something hasn't been sticking. We've posted in the library. I mean, if anybody has other ideas, but we're just and other people I talk to for different organizations I think it's a similar problem. So I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, if we're missing something, but any suggestions are welcome, but we are having issues getting applicants from South High. So if, we'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be some late applicants. We still have a few days. But otherwise we might need to kind of rethink how we fund or how we donate, or, what we do with the scholarship money, and but that's where we are right now.
Thank you, Lauren. And I did post the link to the scholarship page on our website, just in case you do know someone that you might be able to recommend apply. But it has been a problem, honestly, since we launched the scholarship, gosh, 6 or 7 years ago. This kind of has been an issue every year. So yeah, hoping some applicants come in, but if not, I do really like the idea of looking at other ways that we can give back to our schools so that anything we raise is still, going in and helping the kids. Okay. All right. Well, we will move on here to our next item. So this is our anniversary logo pre-sale. So this ends tomorrow. Let me get a link. Oh gosh, let me see if I can share my screen here. I'm having trouble sharing my screen. Sorry, everybody. But our anniversary merchandise, which includes both, let's see here. Let me just Apparently I can't actually talk and screen share at the same time. So I hope everybody can see this, but our anniversary merchandise, we have a variety of t-shirts. We've got both crew neck and v-neck. We have crew neck in tall sizes as well. We have a unisex tank top and a pullover hoodie. I know nobody wants to be thinking about hoodies right now because it's finally getting warm, but it's there and available. And for the first time ever, we also have a 16-ounce pint glass. So this is actually going to be satin etched, which means it will be dishwasher safe. I know that's very important to me personally. I think it's probably a big one for others as well. So if you are interested in any of this merchandise, and also note, there are actually multiple colors of the t-shirts available, of all of the apparel. So everything does have several different colors available if you do not care for black or gray, or want a bit more color. But if you are interested in any of this, the deadline to order is tomorrow at midnight. And the reason for that is because these will be available for pickup at Founders Day on Sunday, April 20, is it 6th or 7th? I always keep forgetting. There we go. Sunday, April 27th. So in order to make sure that the merchandise is ready for that event, we do have to cut off pre-orders tomorrow and get those submitted to our printers on Friday morning. So if you are interested in the merchandise, please do not delay. I'll go ahead and post a link to our shop right now, so that anyone who is interested can go and place an order. And again, we will have those available at the Founders Day event for pickup. If for whatever reason you are unable to attend Founders Day and you live within a mile of our info center, which if you're in Merion Village, you do, you'll actually be able to get your item delivered after Founders Day has concluded. Volunteers will deliver those to you. So there is still a way to retrieve them. Anyone have any questions about the pre-sale for the apparel or pint glass? Okay, all right, we will move on. Let's see. So upcoming volunteer opportunities. So the most pressing volunteer opportunity is, of course, our Founders Day celebration. Again, that is Sunday, April 27th, and we need lots and lots of support for both the cleanup and setup phases of that event. Setup is between 8 a.m. and noon when the event starts, and cleanup, of course, begins at 4 p.m. when the event ends and wraps up just as soon as we finish. We're hoping around 7 p.m. we'll be finished. Could go a little longer, but hopefully it won't. Cleanup is typically pretty quick for this event. So need lots of folks to help with that. I did post a link into chat where you can volunteer for those shifts. You can also find the link on our website if you know of anyone who might be interested in helping. We'll have a variety of things available to do during that morning and evening. Some of it might just be, helping vendors unload their vehicles, helping to get our roadblocks set up. We do have a small road closure for this event. There's lots to do, and not all of it is heavily physically intensive. So if you're not able to do something very physical, there's still other things that we can certainly use your help with and would appreciate. So if you're available, please go sign up for a shift. We would certainly appreciate that, and hoping to have our 40th anniversary Founders Day celebration be wonderful and successful, and just another great day with lots of local vendors, food trucks, you name it. So those are our two or that's rather our biggest volunteer opportunity right now. We'll have a couple other opportunities as well. Again, planning for both the garden tour and the festival. So if you're more about planning than coming day of, those have both started. And then, of course, we can always use help with beautification and projects of that nature. Am I forgetting anything, anyone? I think that covered it all for right now with volunteers. Okay. So again, thank you in advance if you are able to help volunteer for any of those items. Committee updates. Again, beautification is inactive right now since we do not have folks signed up for that committee. So if you have a project in mind, let us know. We're happy to help support. Membership is mostly just a reminder. If you have not renewed your membership, we do have an online membership management system now. So you're able to choose auto renewal, which has been amazing for me personally. It makes it a lot easier to not have to remember to renew each year. Of course, you can also renew manually if you prefer as well. But if your membership has lapsed, this is just a reminder to get that reestablished because we do appreciate all of your memberships. Social. David, do you want to share about tomorrow's happy hour?
Yes. So the social committee will be having our sort of bi-monthly or every other month happy hour. Hashtag first Thursdays. Hashtag Thirsty First Thursdays. At Lupita's Mexican Cuisine on South High Street, right at the very tippity bottom south edge of Merion Village. And I think we're gonna start that around 5:30, but show up whenever you can. I haven't checked the weather. It's nice, we'll be on the patio. Otherwise, we'll be inside. So that'll be fun. We did it 2 months ago at River. So that was fun in February. We'll keep doing it throughout the rest of the year during months where we don't have so much other stuff going on. And also, I know that Wanderlust, the art gallery, is having some sort of event or launch party. I think it's 7 p.m. tomorrow. So we might even be able to roll it into supporting a local business after we walk down to Lupita's. So hope to see y'all there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see here. I will actually just, while we're here, I was not at the event and I know Brittany isn't here tonight. Lauren, Dan, David, I think you were all there. We did just recently host the business mixer that our new member at large, Brittany, spearheaded and organized. And this was held at Jennings across the street from our info center last week, I think. Does anybody just want to share anything about how that evening went? I think that you guys said there were about 30 different local small business owners in attendance.
Yeah, it seemed like there was definitely more than I think than at least we initially anticipated. But it seemed like it went really well. I know Brittany sent out she had 2 little boards of like what what can the community do for each other and then what do we want for Southside businesses. It seemed like it went really well. A lot of different conversations going on and little like mini workshops, I'd say. But really no complaints from the people that were there and I think it went well.
Themes, like any big takeaways?
I don't remember.
I was just impressed. I guess I hadn't really thought about what a diversity of businesses there is within Marion Village from people who have, they're just independent proprietors of photography services or things like that. And all the way up to, even though I've probably walked past it 100 times, I didn't realize we had our own sauna truck just down the road a couple blocks. So I will definitely be signing up for the sauna truck. And I would not have known that if not for the business mixer. So I don't think Brittany's here right now, but I'm really glad she had that idea and jumped in as a member at large right away and put all that together really fast and really well.
Yeah, and I think the only big thing, some of the businesses that are here but don't have brick and mortar locations, we're wondering if there's some way we can utilize the info center to like display their info or handout. It's as more of like a place where they can have so people know, oh, Jane lives in the street, has photography, but she doesn't have an office that you can go visit. But here's her website or whatever. So I think
Like a bulletin board?
like a bulletin board, but I think probably more visible from the glass or something like that.
And
But
we-
yes,
We
something
do
like
have
that,
our
or-
business page on the website for business members. So anyone that is an active business member, we have a link to their website and everything. And we do have a couple of business members that, like you said, don't have brick and mortar. And so we've got them on our map as kind of general locations since they don't have a physical place. But then, of course, their logos and their links and everything on our website as well. So regardless of like physical location, anyone that's a business member, we absolutely do have an avenue for people to see them. Of course, we have announcements as well that we make on social media when a new business joins. Each year, they have that option, or that's actually just included. It's not even an option. It's just part of their membership benefits.
I'm not technology minded, but if we do have a TV that we have in the info center,
Hmm.
can you do things where like people have those resting slideshows like on a computer screen or something?
Potentially,
And it has like a screensaver, but it would be like our business numbers or something, and like, I don't know.
Electricity bill.
Well,
It's
fair.
I just don't know who would be in here like regularly besides the meetings.
Yeah.
And we have that sort of
I
meeting.
mean, if you can see the TV from the street, but on the other hand, that's also being like TV to steal.
Yeah, let's not do that. But I mean, we could, we have a couple of signs that we do have, like perpetual signs on our windows, so people know that they can rent the info center or how to join. So we could just have another sign with a QR code that kind of highlights the fact that we have business members. If you scan this will take you to a page that lets you get to all of their links. Otherwise, we would be constantly updating our windows with like, oh, this person's a business member this week, but then it expired. So rather than kind of something we'd have to change constantly, we could definitely have a feature on the window that says, hey, we have business members. Please go check them out. This is the easiest way to get there.
Picture collage.
All right. So that covers kind of beautification, membership, and zoning committee. Tate, do you have anything you want to discuss on the zoning side?
Thanks, Justin. I actually don't have any updates for this evening. We obviously didn't have any applications this evening, and we currently have no applications for next month, but we're still early for that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tate. All right. Let me move down. Tom, we are on the Southside Area Commission updates. Do you have anything you'd like to share for us? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
No, it's fine. Zoning 1.5 is here. So I remember zoning 1.0 that got passed last year by city council. That was for specific corridors to do the new zoning, the new citywide zoning. And for us in our area, it really only affected Parsons, High Street, and Livingston. So 1.5 here, they kind of missed State Rep 161, so it's really just a vote on that. It's in public comment period now. Probably most people here don't care, what's happening up on 161, but if you do, you can put in public comments.
Will you
on that
actually
right
grab the
now.
speaker, Tom, just to get it a little closer to you? Sorry, you're a little far away. Thank you so much.
Here. I'll fold mic here.
There we go.
Yeah, we just need a stand or something.
Yeah.
Just carry it around. So the next steps though beyond 1.5 will impact the area. So just know that that's coming. Public comment for that is probably going to open around September. The next target for 2.0 will be commercial space. So that's going to change over to new commercial code in basically all of city code. So that's the next plan. And then after that, 3.0 is going to be residential. That will probably be following year in 2026 that they'll start that process. And there'll be public hearings and actually something for you, Jess. Tony Celebrezzi said he'd come to a lot of the area, or not just area commissions, but the civics too. So if we want a presentation on it, he would give us a presentation on it if that's something of interest. And would actually get rid of a lot of the zoning things that we have to do because, somewhere around 90% of our area, none of the houses meet code, right? So things like lot width requirement, there's almost not a single lot in all of the south side that meets lot width requirements. So it doesn't make sense. So that's where they're going to change that over, allow some things, some of the proposals would be by right, you could do a second story above your garage. You wouldn't have to come, to do the whole process just to do that. That would just be a by right. So a few things like that we already see a lot of and hasn't really been an issue. So those are big things happening. I can put links into the thing here if you want to see the map from 1.0 and get the links to the 1.5 and 2.0. I'll just put them in the Zoom chat. And then the other thing I'll just do public service is we have the May ballot coming up. There are some bigger things on that, so just be aware of that. And that is, I think, May 6th this year. So it's not just primary, there's a number of the bond issues, which are not new funding, they're re-upping of funding that already exists. But for instance, the Ohio State Infrastructure Fund that funds all things, water, sewer, roads, everything that we've had in place for the last 10 years is up for renewal. They're not asking for anything more, just renewing what we have. But yeah, public service on that there will be some items there. That's all I got for me.
Thank you so much, Tom. Okay, fantastic. And since we're kind of tailing off of that, let's see here. When the next Southside Area Commission meeting, if you'd like to attend that, is Tuesday, April 15th, starts at 6:30 p.m. at the Parsons Library. So if you'd like to attend that meeting, that's where they're held. All right, going to go into our community activities and events. So of course we have our happy hour tomorrow at Lupita's. Again, that's planning to start at 5:30 p.m. And if the weather is nice, they'll be on the patio. If not, just go in and maybe look for some folks in some Merion Village shirts, look for David's friendly face and have some good food and hang out with your neighbors. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the Southside Area Commission meeting, that'll be Tuesday, April 15th, starting at 6:30 at the Parsons Library. We, of course, have the 40th anniversary Founders Day celebration and market. That is Sunday, April 27th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Century. So the Century, if you're not familiar, is at 106 East Moeller. Jennings Java is part of that building. It's right across from our info center. And that is where we will be hosting the event indoor. And then we'll, of course, have a portion of the outside as well with the food trucks and other vendors. And that'll be a street closure on South 4th between our info center and the Century. Then we have our first yard sale of the year. So our spring yard sale is Saturday, May 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm going to post the link for the registration for that. If you live in Merion Village or your business is in Merion Village, you can register your yard sale for our community map. Registration deadline is Thursday, the 24th of April. So there's just over 3 weeks left to register. If you're a member of the association, you can register for free. And if you are not a member, registration is $5. We will have yard signs that come around about a week before the sale for folks who have registered, and then we will also publish that map a week in advance. Let's see here. Following the yard sale immediately, again, at our info center, we will have our Goodwill partnership donation drive. So if you had a yard sale that day and didn't sell everything, or if you're just doing some spring cleaning, we'll be able to collect donations of housewares, clothing, shoes. We can also accept e-waste. There are full lists of items that are accepted and items that are not accepted on our website. Please do check those if you plan to donate, because there are items we cannot accept. Those include furniture, any type of baby furniture. I guess that's walkers, car seats. Goodwill cannot accept those because of potential warranty issues or recalls. We also can't accept batteries and light bulbs for e-waste, and we cannot accept televisions or computer monitors working or e-waste of any kind. So very important to make sure you check those lists, just to make sure you're not bringing in anything that we're not able to accept. Since Goodwill will not be on site for this, we are also not able to offer receipts for your donations. So if you do need a receipt, please take those directly to Goodwill, since we will not be able to provide those. That is from, if I didn't mention it, that is from 3 to 5 p.m. at the info center. And then, of course, our next monthly meeting is Wednesday, May 7th, starting at 7 p.m. We will have both this virtual component and also the ability for you to attend at our info center in person if you'd like to do so. So be sure to join us then. And if you're going to attend in person, just remember that you'll sign in when you arrive, and we'll have a little setup already for everyone. Let's see here. Any other events I didn't mention? We are taking signups for our Fitness in the Park series. So that will run again from the first Saturday in May through the last Saturday in September. Those are held at Moeller Park at 9 a.m., typically yoga or HIIT classes. And we have volunteer instructors. We just ask that you make a donation directly to the instructor if you are able to participate in the class. But at this point, we're still collecting instructors to actually host those classes. So if you're interested in that, you can visit our website and we will have a sign up form for you. And I think I actually have it right here as well. So if you know a yoga teacher or you are one and you'd like to host a class or two, please go ahead and get signed up for that. Otherwise, I'm going to open the floor. Questions, comments, anything that anyone would like to share?
Just one item for the Fitness in the Park. We need new signs. They died last
All
year.
of them? Okay. All right. Let me make a quick note. That does happen. They don't last forever.
It lasted like 5 years. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. I've got a note about that. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Any questions? Okay, I think that's it. Well, thank you all so much for being here tonight, for participating in this discussion. Thanks to the folks who helped us show an example of what the hybrid meeting format will look like. Again, thanks, Mike, for doing all the research and helping us get this on the floor. And yeah, we appreciate everybody. We really hope to see you all at Founders Day. Remember to order your 40th anniversary logo merch if you want it. And we certainly need lots of hands for lots of volunteer opportunities. So if you want to get involved and you're just not sure how, you can also just email us at volunteer@merionvillage.org. And I promise you we can find something for you to do. So thanks again, folks, for being here tonight. Everyone have a wonderful evening and enjoy the weather that's hopefully on the way. Bye, folks.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Everyone.